out to you and what I created for you today is I want you to get your head around some major stepping stones and major themes that you need to start focusing on. The big picture strategies are those big major things you got to start focusing on to start driving your business towards its vision. What are the major thematic areas of focus you need to start getting your head around? And again, all the examples I have in here are pure examples. Okay? So look at number 3 here. Number 3 says, so identify what infrastructure is needed to support your vision. Okay? So you've got your target out there as to where you think you want to be. You've got a rough idea of the volume of business, the dollar value that you got to be bringing in roughly every month or at least every year to be at that vision state. So let's start identifying, so what do you need to do? What do you need to start doing now to make that happen? And when I work with my clients, this is where they've done their homework and we start talking about the SWOT analysis. Okay? Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Okay? So we start talking about what do I need to put in place to become my vision. So if you want to be a celebrity, some things you got to have in place. You got to have a killer perspective or style. You got to have a massive tribe. You better have a killer website. You have to have a media team. You have to have a support team, best-selling books. Examples. Okay? Jeffrey, you want to have a TV show, you got to have all these other things. You want to be a celebrity. If you want to have a lifestyle, you probably need to have a business model and products. You want to have various revenue streams. You want to have passive income streams. You want to have web and media presence. You want to have some kind of a tribe and influence. And you got to have some kind of support team. It's not all that different, but the scale of it is. Okay? So here's what I want you to start thinking about. For the type of business you want to create, those are samples that I had up there. Given what you've heard from the conference so far, on page 2 of your handouts, there's a circle, and it's asking you to identify in the middle of that circle what business or what your vision of your business is. Okay? So what I want you to do on page 2 is basically, for yourself, write your vision in the middle and mind map out those major things, the infrastructure, the foundation pieces you need to start putting in place to allow you to create the business you want to have. Now, when you think about this slide again, flash back to Vern this morning, Vern Harnish when he was on, and he had that graph that showed the 25-year growth. Remember that when it just spiked and took off? This is the type of infrastructure, the foundation pieces you need to start getting in place with your business now so that you can leverage them and get to a point where you're simply tweaking them as your company becomes more mature. But a lot of us don't have enough of the infrastructure in place. We have a speech, or we have a book, and we have a kind of crappy website, and we don't have the infrastructure. So what do we really need to start putting in place to move the business forward? And all of these are going to take time. Okay, everybody have your strategies outlined, identified there? Yes, sir.
Can it just be summarized to maybe help folks in terms of products, marketing, and development, and personal development? Keep fill in whatever those specifics are for you.
Okay, the question was, can you keep them kind of nebulous right now and then kind of fill in the blanks? Perfect question. Because no. Get clear. And here's why I say that. And honestly, I do this with my corporate clients. We go old school. We do SMART goals. Okay? Because if my client says, we've got to do better with customer service, or we got to do product, we got to do service, what does that mean?
No, what I meant was, so I put down for me mentors and training, but I started to think through under development, how would I develop myself? I need to go get mentors, and I need to make sure I attend training. But that's what I meant. So to help people, because you have products and you put specific, what is your product, what is your marketing, what is your development?
Yeah, and honestly, we're going to even go more basic than that. I want the verb in front of it. I want the deliverable. I don't want nebulous product. I want create scalable products. Okay, because see how that tightens up what you're going to have to focus on when you start creating product? So the idea here is don't give me a thematic idea of what you're going to do. What's the deliverable? And the reason that that's important is when you bring on staff or when you hire contractors to help you create product or create the website or whatever it is, you've got to give them deliverables so that they know what to build towards. But you've got to be clear yourself, what do I need from the end of this? And the reason that this is important is when you've got a larger group that you're managing and you have to delegate to them, you go and create the website or you go and create the product, what you're expecting them to bring back to you has got to be the same thing they're understanding. And if you just say product, what is it? Okay, so these are very basic examples yet. But when working with clients is by what date, what kind of deliverable is expected. Very similar to your vision, right? Okay. So let's say that you want to be a $250,000 a year gross company, okay? Fine. Some things that you may need to do is you may need to clarify your market and your brand. And in walking around and speaking with some of you before we started today, that's where you are. Okay? You've got to hone in on that. You might need to become an actual paid keynoter and consistently be paid for your keynotes. You may need to refine your customer base because right now you're kind of all over the map. You may need to develop a support team. You may need to create products and books, and you may need to enhance your web and media presence. Now, when you look at those, I'm sure there's people in the room going, well, that's pretty basic. Well, sure they are, if you have them. But if you don't have that yet, that's a lot of work. And even if you have them, are they working together? And are they at the right level for you at this stage of your business, representing your brand and your fee structure properly now? Everything we've done so far is a SWOT analysis. So for those of you that have been waiting for, this is strategic planning, we're not doing a SWOT. That's what you've been doing. I've just kept it really simple, okay? And when you do the SWOT analysis and when we go and cross-analyze it, you're identifying where are the quick hits, where are the, oh my gosh, I can't believe I overlooked that kind of thing, those ideas. Where are the initiatives where you can be more proactive? And this is where you identify the nuggets that you've heard over the past 2 days and you go, oh man, that's the missing piece right there. That's the one I've got to put into my timeline. And then it's also identifying where you're going to invest more or divest, stop doing certain things, and where you're going to put in some damage control. And I can tell you one of the things for a smaller company like mine, damage control is what happens if something happens to any one of my team members, what's my backup? Because I'm one deep. Every one of my staff positions is just one deep. And so my company is vulnerable that way, but we have a backup for every single thing. And so I want to protect that, okay? So here's where I want you to put in place things for your business, okay?
Could you give an example of a backup for a person if you're one deep? What would an example be of a backup?
Contract out. I have people here in my office, you know Gina from my office, she's brilliant. She does all my IT, all my technology. It's in our office manual. If anything happens to her, there are 4 different contracting companies I call to do what she does, and she stays in touch with them. So we contract out, we bring people, who do I call if something happens to that team member? And it's all documented. I do not allow team members to go on vacation until they update the manual. Okay? Yes?
What's 1D?
1D means there's only one person that does that particular job in my office. I mean, everybody's cross-trained, but just one person is there. So if that person quits or leaves or whatever, I'm vulnerable in that one spot. I need somebody from the outside to quickly come in and fill those responsibilities.
And what have you got a backup plan for yourself?
My backup plan for myself, I've got other trainers that can train my stuff. Okay? Now, there's going to be a certain element of my business that my clients who love only me, sorry, I'm gone. Okay? But that's why everything that and here's my other backup plan. Last year, we built an entire knowledge resource center online. So everything that I do with my clients in a typical 3-year engagement is documented on the websites. PDF, templates, business plan samples, position descriptions, succession plans, all that type of stuff is in a resource center on our website that clients can tap into and purchase by module. Now, what I do want you to do is I want you to look here on page 7, and you've got a sample plan back there on page 7. And it looks like that. Okay? What I want you to do is start in that left-hand column and just jot down a few of those infrastructure strategies that you identified on page 2. Keep that bottom row that's highlighted blank. Okay? So just jot down in that far left column some of those strategies that you identified on page 2. Whether it's the website or the scalable products or the licensed products, whatever it might be.